Hi, I'm Jason. Welcome to the video and thank you for your time. The second season of Frieren is well underway, and we have all had a chance to see the sixth episode. It seems that there will only be 10 episodes this season, much fewer than the 28 we got over two cours in the first season. So there are still four more to go. I thought I'd recap what has happened so far and speculate about what we might see as this season wraps up. Now, I'm not reading the manga for this one. I generally read the manga only if I think the anime is over with and they're not going to make any more seasons, because I don't want to spoil my viewing experience. This is not always the case, but with Frieren, it is. So maybe I'm way off base. That's fine. Before I jump in, just a reminder to leave a like, drop a comment, share this video, and consider subscribing to my channel if you enjoy watching this video. The usual YouTube stuff. Episode 1 found Frieren, Fern, and Stark continuing their journey north. The goal is still Ende, and Frieren still hopes to meet the spirit of Himmel so she can show him how much she has changed. Of course, I think it's more than that, and she wants to confess her love for him, but we'll have to see. They stop at an inn where they meet a familiar face, an adventurer whose party is tasked with defending the northern plateau from the growing demon threat. Stark is invited to join this party, and Frieren doesn't interfere with this recruiting attempt, to Fern's confusion. In the end, it is an easy choice for Stark, and he stays with the ladies. He can better grow and improve as their vanguard, and I think his feelings for Fern are a big factor as well. The trio also decides to continue on foot, a slower and more dangerous route, but also a cheaper one than using a boat. The main reason is that there is more to see and experience if they take their time. That is the main thematic takeaway from episode 1 and from the entire series, I believe. It is not the destination, it's the journey. Frieren has already had a 10-year journey, and as the full title of the anime explains, this is beyond Journey's End. A different Frieren sharing what she has learned and passing on not only her legacy, but that of her party, especially Himmel, the hero. It seems odd for a long-lived elf like Frieren to pass on a legacy to people who will die far before she does, but Frieren understands now that humans revere the past and glorify their heroes. They might be brightly burning candles that go out soon to her eyes, but their light lasts long after the candle fades. Maybe she wants that for her old party and her new one. Possible Chekhov's gun? We're introduced to magic nullifying crystals in episode 1, an entire cavern of them, which render Frieren and Fern helpless and put the onus on Stark to keep them safe. I think these crystals will reappear later in the season, either as a way for Frieren and her party to defeat a foe, or as a weapon used by her enemies to hurt the trio. If they don't appear later in the season, they should appear somewhere in the series in the future. Moving on, episode 2 sees the trio taking on a job cleaning a statue of the hero as they pass through a town. Fern and Stark are surprised that the statue does not depict Himmel, the hero they know about, but rather the hero of the South, humanity's strongest hero, who defeated 3 of the demon Artie's 7 sages by himself, and their commander, Schlacht the Omniscient. While unnamed, he is not forgotten, not by these people in this village. Viewers are treated to an amazing animated puppet show recounting his final battle. This hero of the South had earlier attempted to recruit Frieren to join him, already knowing that she would refuse and later join Himmel's party and save the world. You see, he could see the future, and knew he would fall in his battle with Schlacht, clearing the way for the hero's party north. Yet he did this willingly. He went to his fate willingly. As the episode ends, the trio moves on to a larger town where they are hired to retrieve a stolen sword, an heirloom of that town's leader. They track down the demon who stole the sword, end its existence, and return the sword. The thematic takeaway has 2 elements. One is that part of human nature is to place status on history, to elevate people and items and worship them in a way, giving such things enormous importance that stand the test of time, such as the hero of the South and the heirloom sword. The second theme is about one's own nature and being unable to resist it, be it the nature of humans to revere things, the nature of demons to crave power and flaunt it, the nature of some humans to give in to their greed, even to their own detriment, as it was a human who assisted the demon in stealing that sword long ago, or the nature of humans to protect others, who are weaker, even if it results in their own demise. And the nature of Frieren herself to seek out new, novel, often useless types of magic. Her reward for retrieving the heirloom sword? A spell to change red apples to green. Can one change their nature? Can one resist their own deep urges? This ties into how Frieren was changed by her experience traveling with the hero's party. While she will fall for a mimic every time, she has already changed her nature from the elf she was when she met the hero of the south due to her past journey north. Episode 3 brings us to a small village once renowned for its hot springs, but they have all dried up since Frieren last passed through. A villager mentions a rumored hidden hot spring up in the mountains. Frieren is hesitant about searching for it, but Stark presses the issue, even though it is a dangerous trek and adds time to their journey. Just before arriving at the hot spring, they fight and defeat a tricky monster, Stark acting as bait, while Frieren and Fern coordinate magic attacks to take out its 3 heads simultaneously. The hot spring is barely there, ankle deep, seemingly not worth the effort to find it, but the view is amazing, and the trio reflects that they're happy to share this experience with each other. It was much the same when Frieren last passed through here, and Stark knew from his master, Frieren's old party mate, what to expect. But he wanted to see the same view his master told him of, so Stark knew, and Stark knew that Frieren knew, and no one resisted adding time to their journey, and effort, and risk, sharing the legacy, passing on experiences. After moving on to a true hot spring town, the trio relaxes, and surprisingly, Stark winds up asking Fern out on a date, and more surprisingly, she accepts. Stark, in a panic, turns to Frieren, who is basically Fern's adoptive mother, for advice. They walk through the town, and Frieren shows Stark places Fern might like. Later, Fern talks to Frieren and learns that Frieren is not good at giving advice about romance, so Fern goes to bed nervous. Thematic takeaways. It can all be summed up by what Isen, Stark's dwarf master and Frieren's former party mate, said while recounting his visit to the footbath hot spring. It was truly a pointless adventure, but it's so strange how these pointless adventures I had with my friends have all stayed with me as priceless memories. Again, it's not the destination, it's the journey. It's not the big moments, but the small ones. The ones you share with friends. The ones that seem insignificant, but in the sharing of them with those important to you, become elevated and cherished. Those small memories are the ones you miss, the ones you talk about, the ones you pass on. Legacy. Episode 4 is The Date. Fern gets ready and does her hair. Stark looks the same as usual. They wander awkwardly, not sure what to say to each other, shopping and eating and sightseeing and doing things Frieren had suggested to Stark, but all they wind up talking about is Frieren, to Fern's displeasure. Stark asks if Fern had a good time. She didn't smile once. Fern replies that it wasn't what she expected, but she recognized that Stark did his best, and that makes her glad. The first date ends happily. Helping out the next village by slaying a dangerous monster causes Stark to wonder why they didn't go by sea after all, and chose to walk instead, considering how perilous the northern plateau is. Frieren recalls what Himmel said on the matter long, long ago. Many people live in the northern plateau. Just as Himmel became a hero to protect his hometown, just as Stark was unable to protect his own hometown, someone has to help these people. Everyone has a hometown that needs protecting. They didn't become adventurers, heroes, for money or glory or status. They did it to help people who can't help themselves. Thematic takeaways. Dating is hard. Well, on a deeper note, Fern and Stark have taken a big step in their relationship, acknowledging to each other that they are more than party mates, more than friends. As for Frieren, it must please her to see Fern growing and getting closer to a man as worthy as Stark. Frieren has truly become maternal. On top of that is the reiteration that while this journey is on the surface so that Frieren can meet Himmel's spirit, it is also to provide aid to those who need it along the way. Episode 5 has 2 parts. The trio helps a dwarf from Frieren's past find a fabled liquor, supposedly the best tasting alcohol in existence. The dwarf has located the storeroom of this alcohol in a dungeon of sorts, but it is protected by a powerful magical barrier. Although Frieren is hesitant, Fern and Stark convince her that 3 months needed to remove the barrier are worth the huge amount of gold they will be paid for doing it. Eventually, the barrier comes down, revealing what Frieren already knew. The alcohol is actually the cheapest, worst tasting stuff there is, and an elf Frieren knew long ago created the rumor, which then became legend, of its unparalleled deliciousness as a joke. The dwarf agrees that the alcohol is terrible, but he laughs and wants to share it with everyone in the village so they can all laugh at the truth behind the legend. The second part has Frieren being imprisoned for not repaying a loan she took out ages ago when the hero's party passed through on its way to fight the demon lord. With the accrued interest, it will take Frieren 300 years of hard labor in the mines to pay off this debt. But Frieren is able to use her magic to uncover massive deposits of rare silver ore, paying everything off in one day, which was what the leader of the city wanted all along. Crisis averted. Thematic takeaways: the elf who made the joke about the alcohol tasting legendarily great started the dwarf on a lifelong quest to find the alcohol. The elf had no purpose, which is the most awful thing that can happen to an almost immortal being. Endless time with nothing to drive you forward. Frieren has her pursuit of rare and strange magic. The dwarf had his quest for the alcohol. Everyone needs a purpose, a goal, something to motivate them and strive towards, even if it proves fruitless in the end. Once again, it is the journey, not the destination, on the level of personal growth, which we saw in miniature when the trip made the trek to the footbath hot spring. A second takeaway: debts come due, even if long forgotten. You have to pay what you owe in the end. Will this mean something later in the series? The 6th episode just aired as of the making of this video, and it takes viewers beyond the halfway point of Season 2. Demons have destroyed a village, dispatching ordinary people and mercenary guards alike with ease. One demon in particular is especially powerful and dangerous. A pair of adventurers that our trio had met in last season's license testing arc is on the scene to inspect the aftermath and clean up any remaining demons. The man, Geno, came from this village, and while he has no special affection for it, is still impacted at the sight of its destruction. He finds a dying old friend and comforts him as he passes, saying that everyone is safe and being treated, and he will also be healed soon. The woman, Methode, is in the church praying over the dead. When the trio arrives, having also received a summons to deal with attacking demons, the two groups compare notes and begin developing a strategy. One of the dead, a mercenary guard, was a far better combatant than Stark, yet he was killed with ease. After examining the bodies, the wounds, the damage, it is decided that the lead demon was extremely powerful and wielding 4 swords. The combined group prepares for the hunt. Thematic takeaways: hometown comes to the fore again, and even if one leaves or loses the place where they grew up, there is still a part of you that exists there in your memories. That is where you were forged, the first place you started becoming who you are now, whether it was through embracing that culture and experience or rejecting it. At the same time, you can't go back again. Stark can't go back because his hometown was destroyed, and the same for Geno now. I don't know if elves have a physical concept of a hometown, so perhaps for someone like Frieren, it is about the people closest to you. They become your home. So maybe Fern is Frieren's touchstone and vice versa. Frieren can't go back to her old party, but she can keep the embers of memory stoked by sharing her experiences with her new party and ensuring the legacy of Himmel and the others gets passed along. Also, the idea of protecting those who can't protect themselves, of being heroes out of necessity and opportunity whenever the moment arises. No one can help these villagers, but they can stop this tragedy from happening again. That's how I see it anyway. Looking at the opening credits reveals a lot of foreshadowing. We see scenes that now make sense, scenes that are happening one by one as the season unfolds. The adventurers who chose to go by ship, the statue of the hero of the south, the heirloom sword, the footbath hot spring, the dwarf and his liquor, Geno and Methode praying over the dead. 6 scenes, 6 episodes. What do we see next? People crossing a bridge as a man watches. A man I don't recognize drinking something hot atop a mountain, smiling. Those scenes seem to be related to upcoming episodes, and while there are 2 scenes and 4 remaining episodes, I think that is all the foreshadowing we get from the opening credits. What is the bridge? Who is the man watching people cross it? Who is the man in the mountains drinking from a steaming mug? I thought he might be Sane from season 1, but I'll have to wait and see. As we move into the final arc of this season, our combined party of 5 will face off against a 4-armed demon with incredible fighting prowess and whatever forces it is aligned with. The battle we saw at the beginning of episode 6 took place in a lot of smoke and fog, so that might be a factor. There are 4 mages and 1 tank or vanguard in Stark, so I hope there are no magic nullifying crystals, because that sword demon has already taken out someone who was a much better fighter than Stark. 4 episodes to go. What did you think of my takeaways regarding themes? Have you been enjoying season 2? Are you like me, disappointed that it is so short? Drop a comment and share your thoughts. Every comment is welcome. Also, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and let me know. Share this with anyone who might want to see it, and consider subscribing to my channel for more videos on entertainment topics of all kinds. Thanks for watching. See you next time.